but a lot of us who've been around for a while remember certain parts of 1968 that remind us of what's been happening here. And it's, of course, the essential resignation of a president's nomination, which has never happened before. That puts 2024 in a special category. But 1968, for those who lived through it, you know what a tumultuous year it was, how difficult it was for the country, how many terrible crises occurred and problems that we had no answer for, and things seemed dark and gloomy. And people were actually questioning, especially after the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy. They were questioning whether the country could really hang together in the middle of a very unpopular war. But we did hang together. We came through the fire, and it wasn't easy, and we had a lot more trials to go through, including Watergate, which lasted for years. Things weren't easy, but we survived, and eventually we prospered. And I think the same thing will happen this year, because I want all of us to wake up tomorrow, Governor. I don't want to be negative. I think it's very important that we all wake up tomorrow. So I'm just simply telling you, we'll get through it. But what are we getting through? Well, we have a very unpredictable choice. Nobody could have believed a few years ago, or certainly right after January 6th, that we would have Donald Trump back as the nominee of his party for the third consecutive time. After having, and I think I'm just stating a fact here, it's not partisan, after he had essentially staged the first self-coup or coup d'etat by an incumbent president to overthrow the Constitution. That's what he was doing. He was trying to steal a presidential term. And if there's anybody in here who thinks that he thought that the election was actually stolen, as opposed to it didn't turn out the way he wanted, meaning he didn't win, then I've got a beautiful rotunda I want to sell you. It's right in Charlottesville. I know it isn't connected to VCU or VSU, but you know, it's a nice rotunda. Governor Wilder's been in there many times. You know what happened. I know what happened. We all know what happened. And the Democratic nominee, she's had to step up and face tremendous difficulties just to become the nominee. I have to say, this is the only way, whether you think she's going to win or not, whether you think she's good or not, this is the only way that Donald Trump could possibly have been kept out of the White House. Because President Biden, for all the good things that he's done and the good qualities that he may have, he was headed for defeat. On what scale, it's impossible to say, but I don't think there was any way for him to come back. Let's just say he didn't age as well as Governor Wilder. You know, I mean, it's true. He's got more energy and brain power than the rest of us put together. You give me hope. I've told you that before. You give me hope. Anyway, the point is, we've got this matchup where the people really have had very little exposure to one of the candidates and has had too much exposure to the other one. This is a very strange development. And if you were running Donald Trump's campaign, you'd run it very differently. You would keep him in the background more, but of course that's impossible because he won't permit it. And you would also focus him on the things that can elect him, like whether you agree or disagree, his positions on economics or the problems with inflation, the problem at the border. He claims there's a crime problem, and there is in some places, but it's way down, actually. Crime rate is way down. But these are the things that could actually elect him. But he has found other critical problems in America that do need to have us pay attention, like the size of crowds. This is something that it's very important that we all measure the number of people who turn up at his rallies versus other people's rallies. And what a great determination of who should be president. I'm being sarcastic, I don't know. I guess you don't know me as well as I thought you did. But it's a strange campaign. It's gotten stranger by the day. But I have to tell you that things are going in a direction that most people didn't think they would go in. At first, in the summer, as I said, it looked like Donald Trump was going to win, to the extent that Virginia, at least briefly, appeared to be competitive. I don't know in the end whether it would have been. I'm kind of with Bob. I think we both agree that in the end, Biden would have carried Virginia, but it would have been 2 or 3 points instead of his 10 from 2020. Well, with the new nominee, who had a terrific convention that was energetic, that built enthusiasm in the Democratic Party, followed by a terrific debate that was a debate to remember, just as the one that occurred June 27th was one to remember. But she's had a great 2 months as nominee. Maybe this is the way we should do it in the future. I mean, the British only take 6 weeks, to do the whole kit and caboodle.